Do you want to know what the best gaming mouse is? Do you want wireless? Do you need one for large hands? What's the best claw grip mouse? What should you use on Thursday hands? Well, good news. In this video I'm going to share 13 amazing gaming mice, all of which I would describe as the best for a specific type of person and gamer. For starters, let's talk about the Razer Basilisk V3 Pro. The auto-locking scroll wheel on this thing has filled the void in my heart that was left empty when my parents abandoned me, and its comfort means that it's great to use for a long period of time. I use it constantly with video, photo and audio editing. When I don't have this fantastic scroll wheel at my disposal, I feel sad and also significantly less efficient. It's even comfortable to play certain games like Dota 2 and Path of Exile. It won't be ideal to try hard Apex Legends with it, but for a more casual game this ticks all the boxes. So I feel that the Razer Basilisk V3 Pro is the best choice for someone looking for something for both play and work. Next up, I present to you the Logitech G403. A mouse that is big and significantly heavier than most in the gaming sphere. With a 43mm height and a 63mm width, it's got a lot of surface area for meaty hands. I've also selected this for its more basic layout in comparison to the Basilisk or the G502, which for me enables it to be a bit more user friendly. It still has the high tier Hero sensor from Logitech, which enables up to 25,000 DPI. I would also recommend that you try and get hold of some aftermarket mouse feet so then you don't have to use the standard black plastic ones. Bonus points will be rewarded for anyone that mods the cable to something a bit more lightweight as well. Oh my god, I know what to do for another modding video. So this mouse gets my vote as the best gaming mouse for people with big hands. What's the opposite of big? Small. So what if you want a small mouse because you have small hands or you're 12 years old? Well then the Razer Viper Mini is for you. It's a small ambidextrous shape with a length of 118mm, which doesn't really heavily cater to a certain grip type, so even palm grip users, if their hands are small enough, will find this comfortable. It's a great lightweight mouse with an acceptable sensor that goes on sale often, so it's able to be snapped up for cheap. Now what if you're a claw grip user? Claw grip mice are becoming more and more popular recently as people have discovered that maybe clasping your mouse like you're holding on to it for dear life isn't the best for the long-term health of your hand. This category is somewhat stacked, so it's hard to pick. The Pulsar X2, which has impressed me with its high build quality, clean look and high tier hardware. However, some people have experienced some issues with this mouse, but mine has been almost perfect. The Endgame Gear XM1R, which has proved to be a super high quality mouse with a wireless version coming at some point between now and the heat death of the universe. And lastly, the Cooler Master Master Mouse 720, which is a purpose designed claw grip mouse. It looks weird, but it's literally made for a claw grip. And as a bonus, it weighs 49 grams. Which one is best? I'd probably say the XM1R, as its quality is incredibly high. It has great switches, a respectable balance weight of 70 grams. You'd also have the added benefit of being used to the mouse when the XM2 wireless comes out. Whenever they're ready. We'll just sit here and wait. Next up is a Zowie EC2. This is one of the most timeless mice that has existed for a long time now. It's been used and is still being used by some of the best players in CSGO and Valorant, and for good reason. It's a great size with a comfortable shape. Those that love to squeeze will love the shape of this mouse. It doesn't have the best internals, but a carpenter never blames his tools. Zowie put a lot of effort into the designs of their mice, and some would say that they have reached perfection with this one, which is why it's my pick as the best palm grip mouse. The runner-up? I'd say the glorious Model I. It's a G502 inspired shape that's lightweight and has a few side buttons. Not to the same feature filled level as the G502 though, but with it just being 69 grams with high tier internals and a lightweight cable, it's a good mouse for someone that loves the G502 shape but wants something a bit more comfortable to use for more serious long-term grinding in various games. Let's say you're someone that plays MOBAs and only MOBAs, and once again you've broken your mouse because someone on your team threw the game. Maybe you threw the game. The best mouse to use for MOBAs? This one is tricky for me. I play a lot of Dota 2 and I've used a lot of mice. I don't use any extra functions on my mouse when playing Dota. I don't even use side buttons, so in my personal opinion I'd say anything. Maybe if I had to say, I don't know, the glorious Model I again, just because the extra buttons are there if you want them, but if you don't then you can just swap them out and remove them if they get annoying. A feature that I think is great as these extra buttons are not forced on you. And as I said, it's got a great set of switches and a sturdy scroll wheel, which is what I use to move my camera around, so I'd say that it is a great mouse to use for any MOBA. Next up is a double whammy, the Razer Viper V2 Pro and DeathAdder V3 Pro. They have a brand spanking new sensor, the Razer Focus Pro, and thanks to Razer's hyper-polling dongle sold separately, you can get a 4000Hz polling rate on a wireless connection, basically sending a lot more information to your PC to provide the fastest response times possible. One thing I will mention, as it is a useful feature, you can set polling rate per game with Razer Synapse. I cannot believe I'm praising it right now. So as more polling rate uses more battery, you wouldn't want it on all the time, or in games where you just wouldn't need it, unless you take mini motorways very seriously and need that 4000Hz precision. So basically you can have it turned on for something when you're playing Apex and then have it turned off as soon as you close the game, thus saving a bit of battery life. It's also able to track on glass, so with all these features that it has which are actually usable, especially the changeable polling rate, these two are the best wireless mice going at the moment. Next is the Xtrfy M4, a mouse that looks nice and comes with a plethora of features through Xtrfy's website, which allows you to customize and change your mouse to your preference. Combined with the lighting effects that the M4 has, if you had any taste or you're not colorblind, you'll be able to create a nice combination of colors. So the Xtrfy M4 or the M42 is the best RGB mouse in my opinion. It won't be able to sync with other peripherals, Philip Hue lights or your streamer LED light strips, but as someone that isn't fussed about RGB, I have to admit that this mouse can look pretty nice. Now what if you're on a budget and want the best bang for your buck? Well, there's two choices, one wireless and one wired. The wired one has got to be for me the HyperX Pulsefire Haste, a mouse that really impressed me with weighing just 59 grams, a respectable 33-35 sensor, comfortable neutral shape and PTFE as a standard. It's one of my go-to recommendations for anyone that wants a new mouse but isn't so sure of what their preferred shape is and don't really want to financially ruin themselves. With the cost of around $50 an average and with it being on sale often so it can be cheaper than that, it is by far the best wired budget mouse. Now it gets challenging if you want to cut the cable. You'd want a good all-round shape and also high performance, but it also needs to actually be a budget mouse. This leads to me selecting the Razer Orochi V2. It's using the same sensor as the Pulsefire Haste, the 3335. It's a tight choice between this and the Logitech G305, but I think the Orochi V2 as a product has impressed me more. I find the shape a bit more comfortable for multiple grip types. It comes with a lighter and more efficient battery as well, with up to 17 days of battery life with 24 hours of usage on 2.4 GHz wireless. This is a very long-lasting battery. I've had this mouse as an emergency backup for a while now, and it's somewhat unbeatable in that regard. Having a high-performance self-contained mouse tucked away behind some glass to break it in a gaming emergency is great. It can also withstand pretty much any game I throw at it as well. This mouse has an average price of also around $50, so it's a great wireless mouse that isn't going to make you choose between eating food and gaming. Now we get to the Logitech G Pro Superlight, a mouse that is still used by more professionals in Valorant and CSGO than any other mouse. The Superlight excels in all games for me. It's a mouse that appears at my desk all of a sudden. Sometimes I wake up with a mouse in my hand. The 63-gram weight is a dream, making it super easy to move around your mousepad. It even has huge PTFE feet as well, which gives it a lot of consistency. But for me, the ultimate reason why this mouse is so good is the shape. It's one of the reasons why it is constantly my go-to mouse. It's just a dream to hold. Even though I am a bit of a squeezer, this mouse just tanks my intense grip with ease. I've never had any issues when playing with this at all. There is a valid argument about the mouse being a bit outdated now with a micro USB port, inconsistent switches and some coating issues, but personally I've never had any issues with my copy. And with Logitech's somewhat simple warranty process, at least in my experience anyway, you're getting a product that is almost perfect. We are now in an era where other mice are closing in. A year or so ago I wouldn't consider anything else but a Superlight, but with some new mice coming out recently that have better internals such as the Pulsar X2, Razer Viper and DeathAdder, and the Lamzu Atlantis to name a few, the sun might be setting on the Superlight. But until that happens, or unless Logitech decides to make an updated model instead of just releasing it in different colours, this mouse is still the best gamer mouse in my eyes, and the majority of pro FPS game players agree. Enough about mice, what about sitting down? So I tested out one of the supposed best gaming chairs on the market. That video is on screen now to watch next.